Welcome back to the Eric Crown Crypto channel and another faceless video as I'm actually going to be traveling today. This video is being recorded the day prior, but we're going to be focusing on very high term timeframes for Ethereum. So I wanted to follow up on the higher term timeframe analysis that I put out. I think this was a little over 2 weeks ago now. And we're starting to see it slowly but surely come to fruition. So last time we were looking at Ethereum, we were looking at multiple drives of hidden bearish divergence on the weekly time frame, of which that was beginning a move down to the bottom side of the range lows. And that's pretty much where we're at right now. Range lows, essentially, let's just say $1,000 to make it nice and round and even. And what is very interesting about this, as Ethereum does continue to grind around this region, is that there is an actual setup or the potential setup for a major break. How do I define that? Well, I'm looking at volatility indicators like the BBWP right here. So, as you can see, it is at one of the lowest levels that we've seen only a couple times this past year. One of the times was in April of this year, 2022, and the other time was about January of 2022. Other than that, we have to go all the way back to October of 2020 in order to get similar volatility reads. And to give you an idea of what sort of moves happened alongside these volatility reads, well, in this case, the ones in the last year were both obviously to the downside. One of them, this move right here, for about it doesn't look like much, but almost 50% move, and then again, sorry, not to laugh too hard here. This is not funny. This is not funny. But the next one coming in April, and this one down about 46% before trying for a bit of a bounce, and then actually, realistically went down all the way to 71%. But both of them, I would say, 50%, we're looking at big moves. Of course, when it did come to the upside a couple of years prior in October 2020, that was a humongous start of the bull run where basically Ethereum went up about 74% to the upside before going into its first sideways consolidation, and then it just continued even more. So we're looking at macro moves, we're looking at extremes here, obviously, and in this case, yes, the bias is to the downside, seeing as 1, we are in a downtrend, 2, hidden bearish divergence, and 3, the weekly jewel is very close to getting a downside signature. Just need to see it turn dark blue here, which could happen as soon as the end of this week. And if that does happen, that'd probably be a good setup for an actual break of these range lows. And then, well, where's the next major area to be interested in Ethereum? Well, I suspect that would be basically 750 all the way down to high 600s, let's say. To also round out this case, going over here to the daily time frame, we can see that daily stochastic momentum will remain to the downside as long as Ethereum is below 1155 on a daily closing basis. What I would say about the daily, however, in conflict to the weekly, is that the daily is already reaching volatility extremes. So we're probably looking for a corrective move here in the short term. So is Ethereum likely to break in the very short term? Perhaps not, but on the higher term timeframes like the weekly, it is a setup, dare I say. So let's actually go to the weekly time frame in this case, and we can see right here, weekly momentum remains to the downside alongside extremely low volatility. In this case, this is the volatility of stochastic momentum, as long as Ethereum is closing below $1,240. And, well, again, you have trend, you have momentum, you have volatility. All kind of, aligning with each other in this case. And then we have the monthly, as we are getting into the end of this month of November. And this obviously speaks to the macro here, but Ethereum's kind of had its chance thus far. And during this chance, we were saying that, hey, if November can close above 1100, which is the stochastic pivot, well, perhaps we do see another attempt at a greater rally first before anything else. Maybe even a reversal, definitely possible. But if this condition is not met by end of month, which Ethereum is literally right at right now, I mean, it's actually like $7 below to be fair, then obviously that's going to be another nail in the coffin of likely lower or very like much lower, I should say, than not. So again, would like to see an actual daily close or at least higher term time frame closure below the range lows. That's about $1,000 at that point. There's going to be bounces along the way, very, very likely, but I'd generally be looking towards 750 at the top end to maybe as low as 680, 690 on the bottom end before the next sort of try for a bounce. Does that necessarily mean that things are going to reverse there? No, not necessarily, but I'd at least be looking for a bounce. Potential for reversal over time if you do see that Ethereum, holds it for months on end. But we'll get to that bridge when we cross it, I believe, or we'll cross the bridge when we get to it, perhaps, is the right way of saying it. I've never got it right, and I should probably just look it up before I even say these sort of things. But basically, we'd play the same game over here. By the same token, as always, there needs to be some sort of an invalidation on the other side. because, weird things do happen. Everything's a non-zero probability, of course, that we're playing a game of statistics, not necessarily uncertainties. But basically, Ethereum, dare I say, is heavily bearish in the higher term timeframes as long as it is below the last lower high, which is 1669. Great year as well. If that level is reclaimed, that would be the first major warning that the boo laws are taking over, and this is going to be one major massive bear trap. I think that's generally less likely for the reasons that we've been going over in this particular video, but hey, that would be the criteria needed. Again, we're talking about very high term timeframes as of right now. If you're on the lower term timeframes, this is probably not as interesting to you, but I don't really have anything to say about the lower term timeframes as of right now. So this one, again, very focused on the higher term timeframes. Lower term timeframes, obviously, there's going to be ebbs and flows and bounces along the way. But other than that, I think that's a great place to be leaving off. I want to be wishing you the best as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.